So to solve this equation, the first thing I notice is there's a fractional exponent, which is just the same thing as the square root. So in order to eliminate that fractional exponent, I need to multiply 1/2 by its reciprocal. So that means I need to raise the left side to the second power, so that when I multiply 2 and 1/2, it just gives me a 1. And if I square the left side, I have to square the right side. So on the left side, again, these multiply to give you 1, so you're just left with 45 minus 3x. And on the right-hand side, x minus 9 squared is x minus 9 times itself. So on the right-hand side, I'm going to expand that by multiplying. So first I have to distribute the x to both terms. X times x is x squared. X times negative 9 is negative 9x. And then I have to distribute the negative 9 to both terms. Negative 9 times x is negative 9x, and negative 9 times negative 9 is positive 81. I notice I can combine the x's on the right-hand side. Negative 9 minus 9 more would be negative 18. So the left-hand side, I have 45 minus 3x, and on the right-hand side, I have x squared minus 18x plus 81. So in order to solve this, I notice that there's an x to the second power, and if I want to try to factor this, I need it to be positive, so that means I need to move all of the terms to the right-hand side. So to move 45 to the right-hand side, I would have to subtract, and to move a negative 3x to the right-hand side, I would have to add 3x. So that would leave me with 0 on the left side, and whatever I do to the left side, I have to do to the right side. So that means I'm going to subtract 45, so I put it underneath the 81 because those are like terms, and I will have to add 3x, and I put it on underneath the negative 18x because those are like terms. So on the right-hand side, I would have x squared, negative 18 plus 3 would be negative 15x, and then 81 minus 45 would be 36. Now, in order to solve this, I'm going to try to factor our trinomial here. So we're saying what multiplies to 36 and adds to negative 15. So the factor pair that would work here would be negative 12 and negative 3. So my two factors would be x minus 12 and x minus 3. And so if these are my two factors, if I set each of those equal to 0, I would get x is equal to 12 and x is equal to 3. So I do have to check for extraneous solutions, so I do need to check both 12 and 3 by plugging it back into the original equation and making sure we get a true statement. So checking x equals 12, let's plug in 12 for x. So I would have 45 minus 3, plug in 12 for x there, to the 1/2, and that's equal to plug in 12, so 12 minus 9. So this is 45, and then negative 3 times 12 is negative 36, and that's to the 1/2, and that's equal to 12 minus 3, which is 9. So 45 minus 36 is 9, and that's raised to the 1/2. Remember, raising something to the 1/2 is the same thing as taking the square root of the number. So the square root of 9 is 3. So 3 is equal to 3. That's a true statement. So x equals 12 is a solution. Now let's check x equals 3. So 45 minus 3 times 3 to the 1/2 power, and that's equal to 3 minus 9. So this is 45, negative 3 times 3 is negative 9, and that's to the 1/2. And that's equal to 3 minus 9, which is negative 6. So if I subtract 45 and 9, I get 36 to the 1/2, and that's equal to negative 6. Remember, raising something to the 1/2 is the same thing as taking the square root of 36, which is just 6. And that is not equal to negative 6. So the only solution here is x equals 12.